Hello, everyone.
Hello, welcome to tea time.
Happy tea time.
Happy tea time. So we're in March, and our theme is still all month long movement. But we'll get to that. But I'm drinking a lemon ginger tea, and this is by the brand Yogi. And yeah, I've often had I don't know, I guess I go in spurts with lemon ginger. I like it. I do like the brand because I don't know if I can do this. Well, just for fun, I like that you get these little quotes on your tea bag that are on there.
What is yours?
What does it say today? Today it says, never regret your mistakes. Admire the courage it took to attempt the unknown.
It's good.
So, yeah, they always
wisdom.
little bit of wisdom. And what do you want to say something?
I like that tea. Ginger is really soothing on your tummy. So if you have an upset stomach, ginger is nice to have. Last night we ate out and I was full because I overindulged, but I had tea last night, the ginger tea, just to help, soothe my stomach. And I served that tea this morning in our yoga class, and it was everyone liked it quite a bit. So yeah, so it's good.
And what do you have now?
Now
Chocolate.
my chocolate. I just can't stop. I like this one. So this is the Reishi Hot Chocolate from a company called Botanica, and you can get this on my online supplement store, and it's cocoa powder and date powder, and then we've got reishi mushroom and monk fruit sweetener, vanilla, sea salt. So just some great ingredients there. So it's nice.
It'd be neat if they had one like that was a chocolate flavored tea with hazelnuts somehow.
That would be nice.
Think of
Nutella.
I know it's full of sugar. Not that version, but a version like that had those flavors, right? Chocolate and hazelnuts. That'd be really cool as a tea. I don't know if anybody ever finds any tea that has got a chocolatey flavor and hazelnuts. I'd be interested to hear about it.
But a healthy one.
Yes, a healthy one. Not one that's laden with sugar. I don't know what teas are, but anyway.
Well, some of them are. Some of them, there's a lot of like flavors and sweeteners and that sort of thing in them, right? So, especially if you get into these specialty teas, like you have to
get into specialty teas or blends.
I was at a store on Friday and they had a whole shelf of teas, and so I was excited. I was like, "Oh, some new teas!" And I was looking, but there was only a couple that I would have bought because of the ingredients list. Right. So, yeah. But that's our thing. We're big into the ingredients list.
What you're taking in.
Yeah.
Cool. You're good there?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to mention again the stretching channel only because, right, with our theme of movement, and I think as the weather changes, like, oh my gosh, we just had this warm day yesterday. Yeah. So as we're recording, the day yesterday was so warm, and there's so much melting of snow and ice. It was crazy. We have a pond that we skate on in the winter, and the water rushing like down this small grade over like a 7-foot distance into the pond. It was like
a waterfall.
It was like a waterfall.
Yeah,
it was
sounded so pretty.
It sounded pretty, but it was like, wow, I've never seen the water run like that into there. Anyway, what I'm getting at is spring is coming, right? So we're going to be all excited and fired up to get going outside, right? Like maybe if you've only been doing winter walking, but maybe you're looking forward to your jogging or your gardening or you're cycling. I know there's lots of cyclists who can't wait to get on roads, but you got to wait till the roads are dry and all the grit and stuff comes off to stay safe. But I want to plug or promote the stretching channel as an idea for you to consider of being prepared for those activities, right? To stretch things out. So when you go to take those first couple of shovelfuls of dirt or whatever it is, or you go to pick up the wheelbarrow and move it in the spring, you know, your back muscles and hamstring muscles aren't like super tight from sitting around all winter long, and then all of a sudden you go like, oh, you have a challenge. So just as thought, if you want to plan ahead, the stretching channel is a great one because you got the dynamic stretching and the static stretching in there that you can start to limber up and get ready for activity.
And I like the idea of the dynamic stretching, because I think the dynamic stretching prepares you for movement and being in a situation where you, for, you know, stretching and movement. But then if you are doing the movement and you feel really stiff, then you've got the other gentle stretch and relax just to help reduce the stiffness. So it's got a two-way function for sure. So good. Yeah, good stuff.
And I was going to mention, I have sent out a few personal messages to some folks about personal training. It's been a while, and we haven't had a lot of opportunity to do in-person personal training in the last couple of years, as you all know. But I seem to be at a point where we can offer that, or I can offer that, and I have offered, like I say, I've offered that out to a few folks. So depending on their replies, I may be out of spots, but I'm just throwing it out there that there might be one or possibly two spots for personal training here at our place in our year. But just thought I'd throw that out there. I know maybe some of you have trained with us in the past, or maybe some of you are brand new to us and don't know anything about it. But anyway, if you're interested, you can find you can reach out to us and ask questions if you're interested.
And it's good just to get on a, like, even if your spot's filled, it's good to get on a wait list, because life happens, and you never know, you know, how long that that we'll have that, you know, personal training clients for. So it's always good to get on the list and get that backed up.
Okay. And then
oh, can I talk? Oh no, were you gonna talk about
go ahead.
I was just going to say we started, so along with starting personal training, we're also doing some in-person classes, or I am anyway. So I had my first one this morning. There's still one spot left. It's Monday mornings at 9:30. So if you're local and you want to join, there's one spot left in that class, Monday mornings at 9:30. It's a yoga fitness class. So we do a nice warm up, slow and gentle on our back, but then we really heat things up and we get moving and flowing. So it's a great class, great, fantastic group of ladies there. So if you're interested in that, you can. And then I'm likely going to start another evening yoga class in the next week or two. I don't have an existing evening class, so this is going to be new. If you are interested, let me know, and we can start again a list of people interested in an evening. I'm thinking like Wednesday at 6:30, throwing that out there. That's what I think it might be. That's what seems to be open in our schedule with kids and activities and that kind of thing. So that is what's in my head right now. So if that's of interest to you, and similar kind of class, it's going to be a nice gentle warm up. Actually, we start with tea. So we start with tea and some lovely conversation, and then we warm up, and then we get flowing and moving, and we heat the yurt up, and then we cool down.
Fog up the window.
Yes, our glasses were fogged up, the windows were fogged up. We had to turn the heat off. So yeah, if you're interested, let me know, and we'll work out those details. So
yes,
that's for me.
On that same note, then I've got a yoga class that I'm looking to get that going again, and that would be Saturday mornings. And hopefully, based on the weather, that might the class number one for myself might be this coming Saturday, and likely 9 or 9:30. I'm undecided that. I'm going to decide that in the next day or so and figure that out. So yeah, if you're familiar with my online yoga, then that would be what you're going to experience in class. Would be a nice warm up that includes a little bit of energy medicine in it. I like to incorporate that, and then like a hatha style where there's more holding opportunity to build muscular endurance, and in that also to find some peace and calm within your pose and that kind of thing. And I almost always have a nice bit of gratitude, I guess, meditation at the end. So those are available, or that's going to be available. I'll put that out there. I don't know, probably on our Facebook page coming up.
I know somebody who wants to do that class, so.
Okay, yeah, well, I got a few people that had attended previously, and I'll touch base with those first, but there are likely a couple of spots. So again, just if you're interested, we'll pass that. That. Did you want to give us an update on your Eat, Heal, Thrive, how that's going?
Yes. So I started the Eat, Heal, Thrive membership. We have a great group of ladies in there. It is going really well. And you know, when you start like a new program, like a nutrition program, and there's so many like things that you have to follow, and sometimes it becomes overwhelming. And then maybe after a week or 2 weeks, you're just like, it's too much, it's too hard. And so you just kind of stop doing it. And the approach that we're taking this month with this one is you just focus on one thing. What is the one thing that you can do that you are 80 to 100% confident that you can do daily that's going to improve your health? And what a difference just focusing on one thing instead of focusing on a whole bunch of things. And the ability to achieve that goal of just focusing on one thing is so much higher because you just have your focus on the one thing. So if I'm just focusing on drinking more water, and that's all I'm going to do for the month of March, that's your only focus. It's so much easier. And then once you get the hang of something, then you can maybe add in another habit. But everybody did so good their first week, and everyone's feeling really confident. It's very interactive group. So it's not just me coaching, but I'm, looking for feedback and some integration that way. So it's really good. It's not too late to join. I mean, you can join the membership at any time. The videos are recorded. You can go back and watch them. And then I'm there as your support and your coach to help you through whatever you're going through. So that is our focus for March. But I think some of these things are going to continue on. I just want to be able to help serve these guys, these ladies as best that I can. And I think this is a really good, it's a really good way of doing it. So anyway, fun. It's great. We just finished our second call and yeah, it was good. Really good.
Excellent. We had talked a little bit last week, kind of on the fly. There was this idea of an energy flow class, which so I've been looking at a little bit more of going back and looking at some of my qigong material. So that one's still in limbo, like, or in traction. It's growing. The seed is sprouting. If we'll just go with that, it's sprouting. So I know I just didn't want to leave it that it was forgotten. It's not forgotten. I'm still gardening, manifesting that. So we'll keep you posted on that too, because that could be a good a class in the year. But I have an idea, this one, as the weather permits, more in the spring, like practicing that in the lawn, in the yard, with nature there, the benefit of the outdoor participation. And if you're willing to participate with barefoot on the ground, even greater for multiple levels. Moccasins,
they could use like leather.
Sure. Those things to get the benefits of earthing or grounding, and releasing toxicity or energies out of the body. But anyway, it's in limbo, but it's still there.
And what a great name, Energy Flow.
It sounds pretty good. At least Tricia thinks so.
I think it's good.
All right, I'm going to give you some demos. So right movement. So this one will go specific for strength training or movement I guess strength training to be the best. So I'll stand back here in a moment. I'll give you some tips and pointers for form and technique. But before we get into the actual looking at some of the movements, you can talk about some of the mindset going into your movement to get the best, the biggest.
I was going to say, or even what's the importance of form and technique?
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So importance for form and technique. Yes. To minimize potential injury from having poor form or poor technique, and then potentially straining joints or ligaments or connective tissues, that kind of thing.
And to maximize.
And if you have good form and good technique, absolutely, you're going to maximize the supporting tissues, and then the musculature within the movement then is more isolated and then potentially gains more strength. So overall, you're increasing your strength, your stability, all of those other levels for getting a bigger bang for your buck. Is what I'm getting at. So we'll talk more about that specifically.
But also, I'll just interrupt you for a minute. But also, movement is movement, and it's good. And I don't not do a program because you're worried you're not doing it 100% correctly. I think just getting your body used to movement is good. And the more you do, the more you'll learn about it. And if you, if you get a personal trainer, which I think I highly recommend everybody should get at least like 5 sessions with a personal trainer, right? To learn the basics of form and technique.
Yeah.
And then once you've got the basics down, then it'll allow you to then do a strength training class because you've got the foundations and you know that you're getting the biggest bang for your buck with least amount of injury potential. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine. So for movement, I guess I like to set an intention. Well, so yeah, like if you're going to be lifting weights, what is it you're doing it for? Is it because you're getting ready for your golf season? Is it because you've got a brand new grandbaby and you got to be children, you want to be able to pick the baby up, or you're got rehabbing a bad knee, or whatever it is, you're building strength and stability around a knee, or whatever your challenge is, right? But if you have a goal, that's good. But the intention then would be working. How do I work toward that goal in the moment? So in that workout, what is your intention? My intention might be to keep good form, good technique, and to be present with each exercise so I get the biggest bang out of it. For example, if I'm doing like an arm curl with a weight, and Tricia and I are having a conversation, and I do 12 reps and I'm not paying attention, and there's no awareness or of the exercise, and I'm doing a whole bunch of weights, movements or repetitions, I'm going to get a little bit of benefit. But if I'm aware and my intention is to pay attention and to apply good form, good technique, and to activate the muscle tissue the best I can during, then I can do 12 concentrated repetitions and get a lot out of that versus the 20 that where we were talking about the coolest thing we just watched on Gaia instead. So focus and awareness, I guess, would be a good part of that. And then certainly absolutely would consider breathing through exercises. There's probably a time and a place for this. Our cats are having a little wrestling match. Have a time and a place for holding breath with a powerlifting, something like that. But for general fitness, for most folks, anybody who's lifting weight, you want to have a in breath, out breath. I'd recommend that anyway through each repetition. Typically, I would recommend exhalation, out breath with flexion of the spine or any movement that's coming into the body. So think of anything that's bringing you into a fetal position would be more of an exhalation. Anything that's extending your spine, extending your neck, extending the back muscles, spine, more coupled with inhalation. The reason for that is when you're coming forward, you can activate the abdominal tissue in a supportive way, and with the spine going in through extension, you can inhalation will help couple and support the back muscle tissue in stabilizing your spine. So I'll just leave it at that. So let me get back a little bit. Here we go. Okay. So consider posture always. So you don't want to be slouched doing stuff. You want to have good, tall, proud posture with what you're doing. You want to have good, like I mentioned, good breath. And then you want to consider things like range of motion. So if I use a bicep curl as an example of doing a motion for my bicep, your greatest range of motion through that elbow would be whatever that is for you, pain-free, injury-free. But if I'm just doing repetitions here, you're limiting the benefit of or the value in the movement, unless you had a specific need or reason or purpose for a sport or activity that only required the smaller range of motion. But for overall health and wellness, I would say aim for the greatest pain-free range of motion in any exercise that you're doing. If you're aware of the muscle that is working within that exercise, and then you have that awareness, intention, and purpose in purposely trying to contract and use the muscle, you're going to get more out of it. Again, like I said, if you're just doing passively, not paying attention, typically if you slow down and you think of flexing or squeezing the muscle firmly, tautly along the way through your movement, through your repetition, you're going to gain more. You're going to activate more muscle tissue, then therefore you're going to look to strengthen more muscle tissue in that. So awareness, attention, concentration, and Oh, go ahead.
Well, we'll keep going. And then something you can do as well, is like if you wanted to see the quality of your flexion, like take your other hand and just feel the muscle.
You could palpate yourself. Like I'm doing that, and the muscle's just very flaccid.
Yes.
Versus now I'm gonna squeeze the muscle as hard as I can, and now I can literally feel there's tone and tension in there. But that took a moment of awareness to contract the musculature to get more out of it. So if you're unfamiliar with that, there's another good reason where Tricia was saying if you learn or work with a personal trainer, hopefully the personal trainer then can teach you some of the exercises or the muscles that are involved in the movement, and then how to concentrate on them, how to flex them, how to contract them during. So posture, breath, awareness of musculature, full range of motion through pain-free range of motion, working intelligently for,
like safely.
And safely that you're looking for. So if you're looking for, depending on your reasoning, if you're looking to build large muscles or more endurance and muscles might require different number of repetitions. But either way, if your end goal is 7 repetitions, your end goal is 20 repetitions, you want to have the appropriate weight that when you hit 7, that is the last repetition. The muscle is fatigued or burned out at that point. Is if your goal was 7 repetitions and you finish 7, you feel like you could have done 20 more, you probably need a heavier dumbbell, or vice versa. If your goal is 20 and you can only get to 15, it's too heavy. And so you should adjust to accommodate your goal, whatever that might be. And then maintaining body awareness during. So especially in the key for your success will be your last couple of repetitions. So right when that's getting really tough, really difficult to finish those last 2 is to maintain the form and the technique and not end up cheating, leaning back, offering leverage, or another muscle group like the shoulder, then lifting the arm up. So you give you your false sense that you've completed the elbow flexion in that movement for the bicep, but you did it by using the shoulder to get there. So there's all these other little tidbits that are highly valuable in helping you. Core musculature, you can think of that if you stand up tall and proud, your core musculature tends to become a little bit active, but you can go a little bit deeper and thinking of setting your core. I like to offer that as a suggestion. So your abdominals, you got a couple layers of abdominal tissue. You can reference your belly button as your internal corset or what's the word? Not corset, girdle to actively draw in and squeeze. If my spine is back here at my thumb, and my thumbs are then attached to my spine, and my middle fingers are at my belly button, you can think of that circular pattern around you. When you actively draw the belly button inward, you're squeezing that musculature from around you, around the waist, and that is offering an internal pressure and stability and connection of your pelvis and your lumbar spine, lower spine. So you're offering some integrity, stability through there in the core region. So that's below. Then above, you've got your muscle fiber. Those fibers run this way. The other muscle fibers over top is your 6-pack, your abs, to help you do a crunch, to do a sit-up. So you want to keep those. You want your rib cage. So again, you wouldn't be like extended back and your rib cage kind of flared. You think of your tummy muscles firm, taut, and tight. If you're an athlete, like maybe a gymnast, or a dance. If you're in a dance, you might know about not letting your ribs stick out, but keeping that core musculature taut and tight. Anyway,
you can say that a lot in gymnastics. Like so when we watch Gabby, they always say like ribs in, because they're always like sticking them out to get that back extension, but they need to get the back extension without the ribs out, and so it's keeping the ribs down.
If I keep your abdominals taut, I can do a back extension, but I'm not losing this. This is still taut. Versus just going into back extension and then it's not taut. So there's, again, body awareness that you're training or building into that. So that's above your pelvis. On the front, on the back side, you're going to have your low back musculature and your butt, your glutes. So if you think of squeezing your butt cheeks, that's going to naturally align your pelvis in the best alignment for you naturally. So if you have if you're doing a standing exercise, a little bit of butt squeeze, tummy muscles active, good posture, you're aligning things best so that when you're working through bicep or a squat pattern, then the traction of the working joints, knees, if you can't see my knees for a squat, those things would track in good alignment, better alignment. So this is where you're reducing wear and tear by misaligned joints, doing squats with bad alignment. but holding your posture, setting your core musculature well, then you're going to get quality movement, supported movement, safe movement out of that. I think that those are the big ones there. So there's some tips for you. You can consider thinking about.
So that was a lot of chatting, but
Yeah.
if we just put it into simple terms, we want to make sure that we've set our posture, right? And we just need to think of proud posture.
Mhm.
And then we probably want to think about our core. So that
Mhm.
that girdle that we talked about. So activating that, and then possibly a light tush squeeze to keep the spine in nice alignment, and then intention.
Yeah, if you want to break it down to those four points, then yeah, like if you think of if you were a puppet, a marionette, and you had a string attached to your head, right? If you stand upright, or that string were pulled upright, you're basically aligning yourself in good posture. When you do that, your shoulders naturally roll back, the hips align well, and the spine is elongated. So if you just think of tall and proud, that's good step number one. Number two, yeah, you can just actively draw in those tummy muscles slightly. And as Tricia mentioned, on the backside, you can activate the backside muscles slightly. And then your intention and awareness of what you're doing. So there's four.
And don't hold your breath.
and breathe through your movement, right? Yeah. So anyway, there's some tips for you on movement.
Thanks, that's good.
And you can apply that, right? If you're in the garden, right, and you're going to lift up a heavy rock, let's say, and you have to squat down and wrap your arms around this rock, then you would intention, I'm going to lift smartly, I'm going to use my legs, I'm going to engage my core, I'm going to lead and use my legs, and I'm going to inhale as I stand because I'm extending my spine to stand upright. Like there's a scenario of an actual movement. Or if I'm going to put this mug in the top shelf in the cupboard, right, but it's forward and I have to lean in forward, and to get there, then maybe I need to activate my tummy muscles to lean in there. So anyway, there's some blathering.
But some things that you can just pay attention to, and maybe you just spend a couple of days paying attention to your movement and how you move, and are you engaging those. And we need to be aware of these things, because if there's any weakness, then we can get into injury, and not so much weakness, but overuse. And if we use the gardening, for example, you've been gardening, we get so excited about gardening, and we garden all day, but at the end of the day, our muscles are tired and they're sore and they're not activated as much. And that's when we can sometimes get into more of an injury, because we can't support our, do that postural support to protect us,
to have the endurance and to sustain it.
The other, but just being mindful of it can help reduce that injury. So anyway, sorry, I know you want.
No, I was gonna throw the word compensation in there also. Like if you're not aware, you're not paying attention, and yeah, you go to lift, and instead of using your legs, you lift with your low back. You're compensating the leg movement because they're not strong enough to do it, or you're not aware how to do it. So then you start using your low back to lift those rocks or lift the wheelbarrow. And then all of a sudden, now I got a back challenge because the muscles become so tight and tense, they're creating pain back there. So yeah, compensating by using the musculature that maybe is not the best to be using. Anyway,
it's funny. I was going to say that one of the heaviest things that we have to lift around here is the chicken coop. And if you could videotape Jeff and I before we lift the chicken coop, because it's basically a deadlift that we have to.
It's like a giant wheelbarrow.
Yeah,
is what the chicken
coop
is, but it is like a deadlift.
Yeah.
Yes.
So our knees are wide, our back is flat, our shoulders are down our back, our belly button's pulled in, and we've taken a breath in, and we're going to take a breath out. No, I usually
breathe in to stand up.
Yes. Sometimes I take a breath out because I have to use bigger muscles to lift up. But anyway, the breath is there, and we execute the lift and the push up of the chicken coop. But it's really heavy, so we need to set intention, or else we're gonna hurt ourselves.
Well, you could. Right.
Some people have hurt themselves before by doing it by themselves.
And next week, we're gonna for movement, we'll talk a little bit about yoga.
Yes.
We can talk, I don't know, we'll talk a little bit about poses, or again, intention in yoga goes a long way, and what that looks like. So, so we'll share some of our experience with yoga. So,
yeah.
good. Thanks
All right.
for joining us for tea time, and happy movement. And we'll see you next week for another round of tea time.
Bye.
Bye.